Welcome to Cooking with Dragons. My name is Rourke, and today I'm making Nasi Kuning, or yellow rice. So this recipe is going to have 2 cups of rice, pretty much that whole can of coconut milk, a couple of shallots, this lemongrass, which is 1 big stalk. I just cut it in half. About a tablespoon of this turmeric, fresh turmeric. And then I'm going to be pairing that up with some whiting. You can use any kind of fish you like. This is just what I have. And I'm going to be giving a bit of a coating of cornstarch, a little bit of turmeric powder, salt and pepper, and a little bit of butter. And some chili powder, if I didn't say that already. But yeah, this recipe is actually pretty simple to make, but if you're making this, you generally want to have either jasmine rice or basmati rice. But I just have white rice because that's all I have, but you know. Alrighty, so got that prep just about done. And as you might notice, I have the turmeric on a separate cutting board. That's because turmeric has a good habit of staining whatever you're cutting on, as well as your utensils, and it can also stain your hands. So, just, don't use a cutting board you don't want it to stain. So, there's that. And so, I'm going to be turning this into a paste. But since I don't really have a pestle or mortar, I'm just going to be using this bowl of ramekin as a makeshift pestle and mortar. And that should hopefully do it. So the idea is I'm going to peel this after I slice it in half, because that's about how much I need of it. And I'm going to dice it and then, make it thin enough, make it small enough to paste. I'm just going to give a little bit of salt and a little bit of grapeseed oil. That should be good. Okay, so here's what we got. So I got that as pasty as I'm going to get it. I'll probably add a little bit of extra turmeric powder just to finish it off towards the end. So now I'm going to be doing this on the pressure cooker. And so the first thing I'm going to do is just melt that butter. Then we're going to saute those onions. And I also forgot to mention I'm going to use a garlic press to add these. And then I forgot to mention I'm going to be adding a few cloves of garlic. Yeah, so like I said, I'm going to saute those onions, and then I'm going to add the garlic, and I'm going to add the turmeric to let that bloom up for a little bit, for about 30 seconds. And then I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients. And so yeah. Alrighty, time to turn on this pressure cooker and switch it into attack mode. I mean saute mode. Alright. I'm just going to use the spoon that I used for the turmeric, just so I'm not using more dishes. Gonna add a touch of grapeseed oil just on the butter. There we go. Alrighty, so once those shallots get nice and fragrant, I'm gonna add the garlic, and then I'm gonna add the turmeric, and then we're gonna add the rest of the stuff. And yeah, should go smoothly from there, hopefully. And then after that, I'll let that cool, and then I'll get to the fish. Alrighty, so here's what we got so far. I'm about ready to flip this fish, and then yeah, the rice should be ready just at the same time, and we'll let them both rest, and then yeah, we'll plate them up, and then we'll see how it turns out. And here we have Nasi Kuning, or golden rice, with turmeric. I did decide to put a little bit of extra turmeric in there, and so there's going to be turmeric powder as well as some chunks of turmeric in there, so that should be nice. Alrighty, so I will see you at the table. Alrighty, so here we are once again. Nasi Kuning, which is an Indonesian dish, which literally just means yellow rice. if you're not aware. But that's just that kind of makes it sound fancy, and that's what I tried to make. A good topping of it, like there's some recipes you'll have like uh, yeah. There's many things you could garnish this with afterwards. You could put some fried shallots on there. You could put something called a sambal, if I'm not saying that right. It looks kind of like a bay leaf, but it's a little bit spicier as far as I know. But it's not quite easy to get in the local grocery stores. You might have to look into the Asian markets to find it, if anywhere. But let's try this out. Another thing is, if you're serving it, it usually looks more like a cone rather than a bowl. But I don't really have a way to make it look like a cone. But yeah, all right, try it out. It's actually very earthy, to say the least. Tastes really good though. Although I did forget to add the sugar, so that's probably why it tastes a little bit earthier than usual. But you could probably add a little bit of salt to it at that point if you want to. But yeah, fish is another side that you can go with it too, so that might help make up for it. But all in all, I don't think I did too bad. Okay, try it with the fish. It's a very savory and earthy dish, just to say the least. And the fish helps really balance it out with that buttered fish. So yeah. And you would also serve this for like weddings or birthdays or occasional or specific celebrations. But it's also raining outside. If you wonder what that noise is. All right, Nasi Kuning, check it out. Thank you for watching. My name is Mark for Cooking with Dragons. We're exploring the world of food. You know how to keep on feeding the fire.